Throughout the years, Transformers has had crossovers with a variety of different franchises. However, the most interesting crossover is with Star Wars, because normally when you think of Transformers crossovers, you're thinking of the modern day Transformers crossover line, where each year they release like 1 or 2 crossover figures, where it's like one year it's Sonic and Transformers, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Transformers, or Back to the Future and Transformers. But back in the mid to late 2000s, Transformers had a massive crossover with Star Wars. So massive, in fact, that it had its own dedicated toy line called Star Wars Transformers. And today I want to talk about that toy line because it is so fascinating to look into, because man, it's rough. Now, this isn't actually the first time I'm talking about this toy line, because last year I made a video called The Weirdest Star Wars Toys Ever Made, where I went through strange Star Wars crossover toys, including Star Wars M&Ms, which, by the way, I got this banger. Look at that, isn't that sick? But the crossover toys I found the most interesting was the Star Wars Transformers toys, which actually I turned that into a YouTube short, and that YouTube short got triple the amount of views my original video did, so very clearly other people find this one the most interesting as well.
They all look stupid. They don't even transform. They just are ships with heads and arms and legs. What is this?
That's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So these were actually released?
Yes. So Star Wars Transformers is a crossover toy line between Star Wars and Transformers that began in late 2005 and features Star Wars vehicles transforming into mechs based on Star Wars characters. The line originally featured toys of similar size to the deluxe size class from other Transformers lines, with the exception of the Millennium Falcon Combiner and the Darth Vader / Death Star toy. Can you guys tell I'm just stealing this directly from TF Wiki? In 2008, the line was rebranded as Transformers Crossovers, which also featured characters from Marvel Comics. By late 2011, the Marvel side had been phased out and the crossovers banner was dropped, marking the return of Star Wars Transformers, with this toy line ending in 2012. These figures did not hold up super well in like terms of every single thing related to it, because the transformation didn't hold up super well, robot mode didn't hold up super well, and they just look really weird. And the big thing is the plastic did not hold up super well. So if you even touch these figures, you have a very high likelihood that something's gonna break off of it, which is not good because these are toys made for children. Something that I find really interesting about this toy line is that the vehicles don't transform into like random robots. No. Instead, the vehicle transforms into like an actual Star Wars character, because these are mechs. So let me give you an example for you Star Wars fans out there. Imagine a Pepsi vending machine transforming into Marfa Lump, the Star Wars character that was made exclusively to sell Pepsi products during the marketing for The Phantom Menace. Imagine that. Why the fuck did I use this as an example? The Sith Infiltrator transforms into Darth Maul. I understand what they're going with. These are kids' toys. They're like, it's a transforming Darth Vader. He transforms into the vehicle he drives in. I get it. And what's fun about this is that they actually include little tiny figurines of the characters. So you can have these little characters fit inside the cockpits of the vehicles. And just like, that's fun. And one of the ways they try to tell you that this is the character is that they actually have the heads of the Transformers look like the characters, which on paper I think could work for Star Wars, especially since there's a lot of helmeted characters like Darth Vader or Commander Cody. That looks fine. But then you get to like the actual human characters or the alien characters, and it just looks really odd because it's very hit or miss. It does not look like the character, which makes you wonder, why did they decide to go down the path of having this be the character when they don't look like the character, except for Yoda? Yoda looks like Yoda. The best part of these Star Wars Transformers figures is the vehicle mode. All the vehicles look great and super accurate to what they look like in Star Wars. Like, there's literally nothing you can complain about with these. These look fantastic. But unfortunately, that makes the robot mode suffer so hard, which unfortunately I can't show with the Slave 1 because I have that in box and I intend to keep that sealed in box because you can very clearly tell it's yellowing. So as soon as I open that box, that fucker's disintegrating. Instead, I have Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter from Revenge of the Sith. This came out in 2005, I believe. He comes with lightsabers, and I have no idea where I put the lightsabers. They're here somewhere, I just don't know where. So now I'm going to review a Star Wars crossover toy. Alright guys, welcome to Super Mando Reviews. I'm your reviewer. I'm Super Mando Reviews. Visually, this vehicle mode looks honestly peak. There's very little robot kibble on this. I mean, down here you can see a little bit of, throwing that light. As you can see, there's a little bit of robot kibble right here, but other than that, it's like barely noticeable and actually just adds extra detail to this. Like, this just looks fantastic. This looks great. This is awesome. Why is this so loose, bro? What the hell? Stay in, bro. Stay in. There we go. We got his little droid here that I forgot the name of. So what also this thing can do is that the cockpit can open up. You got some nice detailing in the cockpit there, and that's where you put Obi-Wan Kenobi so you can fly around. You have these little flappy thingies. I don't know what they're called. What bugs me a little bit about them is that when you already have one side out, the other side goes out and just... like, that's not supposed to happen. It's not that big of a deal. And look at that. It elevates this figure's vehicle mode. It just looks so sick. And you just close it up. I just wish this wasn't as loose. But what's also cool is that you have like a little landing. But yeah, with this little backpack section as well as this, you can just land perfectly fine. And that's really cool. That's really sick. There was a lot of thought put into this vehicle mode. That's probably because George Lucas made sure that they put a lot of thought into the vehicle mode. Why is this so fucking loose, bro? Why is it so loose? Alright, anyway, I'm gonna stop glazing this vehicle mode. I'm actually going to transform it for you because... Alright, let's get into this. So, first off, that's the first thing you have to do. And look at this. Look at this. Look how loose that is. And I'm thinking that was intentional. Because it moves around in there. Like, that's an intentional design choice. It was designed to be like this. These little clip things are, like, breaking by the moment whenever you unplug it. Like, you can see that. That's like, that's breaking apart there. That's splitting apart compared to this one. Off to a great start. Alright, what's next? We're gonna flip this up, put that up. Let's do the legs. So this whole back section is the legs. Flip it. Then we can put the arms out. This should... I did not like that sound at all. That was not a fun sound. This is almost done. This figure's already almost done. This extends. And then we split it. The foot goes down. This turns around. Foot goes around like that. He's got like little gorilla arm things. And then his head. There's Obi-Wan Kenobi's head, which it doesn't really look like Obi-Wan Kenobi. So one part I forgot to do in my initial video, I'm refilming this part, is that these wings, like, they don't just kind of just sit around. They actually tab into each other. There's a hole right there. I thought this was for Obi-Wan Kenobi, but it's not for Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's actually so that these fucking wings can, like, tab together. Oh, kind of. And then this part just doesn't tab in anywhere. It just kind of, it sits there. It sits there. It doesn't do anything. But yeah, that's the figure. That's the figure. The whole half of the vehicle is just on the fucking back. Like what? And it untapped. It already just untapped. All right, that's great. That's great. Let's try the other way actually, because you could do either way. I tapped using the other way. This actually seems like it's gonna be a more secure connection, which is good. That's great. And here's the robot mode. Like I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Like I appreciate they tried to tab the backpack in. It's just the wings. The issue with this vehicle is that half the vehicle is the wings. So just not transforming the wings just leaves this massive ass backpack with little tiny arms and legs, because the little tiny there we go. The little tiny arms and legs have to go into this little tiny body, which by the way, Alright, we're good. The proportions, that's what I'm trying to say, on this guy is wild. Because he's got this big ass chest with these tiny ass gorilla arms with these skinny ass legs. Crazy. Like, genuinely, what is the thought process behind this? Why doesn't this tab anymore? Why does this just kind of just fly around? Like, it tabs in vehicle mode, but in robot mode, it doesn't tab in anywhere. It just sits there. And it's so loose, you can't do shit with it. Like, I don't get it. Anyway, articulation time, because it's a review. I'm counting this as the articulation. The head can go down, which is cool. You can swivel side to side, which, by the way, that's not Obi-Wan Kenobi. The arms can move all the way around and can go out that far, but with the transformation, it can go out that far, which works pretty well for the accessory, which is a lightsaber. There's a swivel, there's a 90-degree bend, kind of. Actually, there might be a bit more of a 90. Yeah, it's a bit more of a 90-degree bend. There's a ball joint at the hand that's purely for transformation's sake, and you can't, like, turn it or anything. There's a swivel kind of at the legs. It's tabbed in together, so you really can't move around that much. The legs can go forward that far, and can go back not at all because of his fucking wing backpack. But it can actually go out, like, a lot. Like, modern day Transformers can't reach this. There is an above the knee swivel and an above the knee bend. I say it's above the knee because realistically the bend should be here. Part of the transformation is that it like shrinks in and out, so I get why it's added up here. The feet technically can move up for transformation, and that's the figure. It's not modern day articulation, but that's fine. I get that this is an older figure. The figure just doesn't look good. Like, the figure's just not fun to mess around with, because if you untab these, that's just the vehicle. Like, pretty much half the vehicle is just on his back. Yeah, man, not a great figure. Surprised it didn't even break when filming this. That's Supermando Reviews. So tragically, the Transformers Star Wars toy line ended in 2012, but it was brought back in 2018 by Takara Tomy, called Star Wars / Transformers, which featured significantly more complex and expensive figures, but this also didn't last super long. Star Wars Transformers is an interesting dive into a really strange attempt at a really interesting concept, but that has been Star Wars Transformers, or at least a little dive into it. If you enjoyed my little yap session about this, like and subscribe please. I would greatly appreciate it. This video might just be a bad video. I'm not sure.